Bonjour everyone, Pantoufleee here today for a new video in which we're gonna talk about a French tank that we truly never see, and specifically since it was totally removed from the premium tech tree of the French branch, and it's basically the FCM 50 ton. If you are new to this game, you probably got 2, 3, even 4,000 games without even seeing one on the battlefield for one simple reason. Statistically talking, this tank is supposed to be a medium, but in fact, it's more of a heavy with a medium mobility, which requires a really specific playstyle that is probably one of the hardest to master in my opinion. Because at first, when you take a look at it compared to pretty much every other medium tanks of the same tier, it's just twice as fat. Just take a look at the Revalorisé, for example, next to the FCM. It just looks ridiculous, right? But they have the exact same class. But there is one thing that makes the FCM a big tank, and one thing that will allow you to bounce a couple of shells: the fact that your tracks are just enormous. We all know what's the problem with the French tanks. Usually they are not armored at all, which means that if you show yourself, bang, you get penetrated. And the FCM is no exception, as long as you play it wrongly. Because once you learn how to side scrape, this tank can become effective from time to time, even if I do not encourage you to try it out. For the regular statistics, I'm gonna tell you that the gun is just excellent, reloading in 5.5 seconds for a total of 2.4 thousand DPM, which is probably among the greatest guns at tier 8, and the mobility is quite good as well, even knowing that you're supposed to be a heavy tank, because you can climb up to 51 kilometers per hour. For the other statistics, do not try to bounce anything because you are gonna get penetrated, except if you do the right thing. So this tank has some really good aspects. Statistically talking, when you take a look at it, it's actually a nice tank. But what is the thing that makes it a good one in my opinion, but at the same time, which is a tank that you never see because of it? It's the fact that people will get a feeling of superiority every time they fight with you. Let me explain to you why I think that way. Usually, when you see a French tank, you are gonna assume that it's something easy to penetrate, because 99% of the French tanks are easy to penetrate. And to be fair, the FCM is no exception, because as you can see, we got snapped out of existence by that poor defender. But at the same time, when people are getting too confident with you, this is where you will have the advantage. Let's take a look at the Scorpion G behavior, for example. Why did he pick on us here? And why did he try to shoot even knowing that his shell will never go to me? Because I am a lightly armored tank, or at least he assumes I am one. And this is what will grant you some great damage and therefore great games. The fact that people will make mistakes because they don't know you, because of course you do not see this tank a lot on the battlefield, and at the same time you have the chance to be a French tank and therefore already have that reputation of an easy tank to kill, as long as you are not fully reloaded with your autoloader. But here it's not the case, so we don't care. And of course, when people start to get too confident over your presence, they will do mistake like the Scorpion G did, and like the T29 is currently doing. And as you can see, with our 5.5 seconds of reload, we truly have the possibility of destroying those poor souls without even a small remorse. See you soon, T29. Thank you for coming. Already 2k damage within the first 2 minutes of the game, and it's just gonna climb again and again and again. Now for the playstyle, there are two things you need to know with the FCM. First, even if you don't have any armor, you are still remaining a quite mobile tank. And of course, as you have that mobility, it will allow you to play like a regular medium. Try to use the terrain to your advantage to make sure that the enemies will not get a single shot on you and that you will be able to snap all those shells. To do that, nothing impossible and nothing hard to do. You circle the tank, you try to use rocks like I did with the IS-2, and in the depending on your possibilities, you wait for your allies to push for you, take shots for you, or be the main target. And as long as you do that, you should be fine. But of course, there are some times where you will have to deal frontally with some opponents. And if it's the case, I really want you to try out the side scrape. As long as you don't side scrape too much with the FCM, everything will bounce off. And of course, as people are thinking that you are just another regular French tank, they will try to penetrate you even knowing that you are over-angling because they have the slightest amount of hope. And by doing that, they give you the advantage, allowing you to get some ace tankers. And another thing that needs to sink in is the fact that you are not a bad tank. You are definitely a hard tank to play, because I did a review on the FCM 2 years ago, and I was already saying that it's, in my opinion, one of the hardest playstyle. But once you learn how to play with it and know that your two main advantages are your gun and your tracks, you will finally be at peace and get some good games. Now for the other types of playstyle, and usually when you don't have the choice to face frontally opponents, you need to play just like in another regular medium that doesn't have any armor on the turret, which is showing off the block, sniping your snapping and therefore sniping a shell straight into your opponent's weaknesses, and after just go out as much as you can. And if you don't have that possibility, of course, after each shot, you try to wiggle, you go upward, backward, get backward, to be sure that the opponents will not be able to penetrate you. And by doing so, we allow ourselves to nearly destroy totally the T26E4. But of course, even if you have to count on your gun, you also need to count on your mobility. You're going to see at the end of that replay that in order to spot for the rest of my team, because after all, even if I have the look of a heavy, I'm still a medium tank, I'm going to try everything in my power to spot those ugly and annoying tank destroyer. So how do we do that? Bang, bang, bang. We go there. We lose 200 hit points in the process, but that's not a problem. As long as it allows us to snap some shells and get some spotting damage, I'm all for it. So yeah, we are going in and we are doing the job. And this is for you, the FCM 50 top. So if I had to summarize the FCM, I would tell you that this tank is worth it just because of its originality when it comes to the tank itself, and to that feeling of superiority people will get while fighting you. Take a look at the AMX AC48, for example. Oh, it's a French tank. I'm definitely gonna have a lot of shells to put in. I'm gonna go in. And of course, by doing that, he's totally avoiding or totally misinterpreting my abilities. I have a great DPM. I also have an outstanding mobility. And if we combine both, it allows me to kill both. See you AMX, see you ISU, and welcome to the victory. So, is this tank available? Currently, no. And if it was for a while available directly in the tech tree, now it got moved to the rank like pretty much every other premium tanks, to the rank of wait till I hit the shop or don't buy me. And of course, as it's not a popular tank, I don't think that Wargaming will sell them sooner or later. They have all those stuffs to prepare first, the 9.3 update, the brand new premiums, and it feels like one of those tanks that Wargaming keeps in their garage, taking dust that will probably never see the day of the light again. But yeah, let's hope that maybe it will come back. But if it comes back, do not try it if you are a new player. Do not try it if you are a regular player. It's only for people that really have some experience in World of Tanks Blitz, because obviously when you don't have any armor except when you side scrape correctly, it implies two things: that you know you're not gonna get that you know that you are gonna get punished for your mistakes, and also know some stuff about side scraping, map knowledge, etc. That is not something that you acquire just by playing 1 or 2 games per year. So hopefully you enjoyed. If that's the case, feel free to subscribe, like, and share. And personally, I'm gonna see you soon for a new video. Bye.